Victor Wembanyama made it his personal mission to take down Chet Holmgren last season. He was losing Rookie of the Year to Chet early, but dominated late. In their final meeting, dropped 28 points, 13 boards, 5 blocks, including this soul-crushing block to seal the win. But this year has been a nightmare for Wemby. His worst game of the season came against Chet. Oh, and OKC's big man is taking the leap that we all thought Wembanyama would take. So what is wrong with Wemby? Well, it turns out Vic may have accidentally helped Chet without even realizing it. Last year, everyone debated if Chet should win Rookie of the Year because his team was number 1, but people looked at Wemby's potential and they were like, yo, this guy could be the GOAT. How do we not give the award to him? We'll look like idiots if we don't. So Wembanyama won unanimous Rookie of the Year. But check this out. Chet was the first rookie ever with 150 blocks and 100 made threes in a season. People said he was too skinny to defend at the NBA level. He anchored the number 4 defense in the league. Was it a coincidence the Thunder's jump from play-in to number 1 seed just so happened to occur when Chet joined the team? No, he was a historic rookie who would have easily won Rookie of the Year if not for Victor Wembanyama. So this offseason, OKC invested in the team. They brought in Alex Caruso on defense and Isaiah Hartenstein to play center next to Chet. The thinking is he could body bigger players and give Chet freedom to play away from the basket even more. But Hartenstein got injured before the season, so Chet had to start center day 1 against Nikola Jokic. Great. But Chet said, no problem. Blocks Joker on one end, then a vicious dunk on the other. Watch out! Finished with 25 points, 14 boards, and 5 blocks. The game had the top 2 MVP guys from last year, Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but Chet Holmgren was the best guy on the court most of the game. Where did this come from? Well, whenever we saw Chet this offseason, he was working on his game or training with other NBA guys like Kevin Durant. Just imagine how focused you would be if you lost to Wemby after one of the best rookie seasons of all time. So when the Spurs and Thunder met for the first time this year, first play of the game, Chet Holmgren blocked a Wemby lob, then recovered for a steal off Jeremy Sohan. Came to play. He was also a perfect 3 for 3 from downtown and showed off his amazing handles that make him unguardable. Meanwhile, Wemby had his worst game of the year. Yes, he was injured for part of it, but dude had 6 points, 4 turnovers, and 0 for 3 from deep. Really? And that's becoming a theme for Victor Wembanyama. So far this year, almost half of his shots are coming from 3, but look at the results. 1 for 8, 0 for 3, 4 for 13. Kid is killing his own game by forcing shots that he cannot make. Oh, but he did have a 5x5 game. Okay, let's be honest about the 5x5. Had any of you even heard of 5x5 before Victor Wembanyama did it last year? And now all of a sudden we're supposed to be like, oh, a 5x5. Yeah, those are a big deal. Plus, who cares if it doesn't lead to winning? Reminds you of people like drooling over Russell Westbrook's triple doubles when he can't even make it past the first round. Now look, I'm not saying that Victor Wembanyama is overrated, or that he won't be great. I'm saying he overshadowed how amazing Chet Holmgren actually is. So Chet gets to play without all the pressure of being like the GOAT. But right now, if you ranked NBA centers today, it would go Nikola Jokic 1, 2 Anthony Davis because he's playing the 5, 3 Joel Embiid, 4 Chet Holmgren. That is better than Bam Adebayo, Victor Wembanyama, Domantas Sabonis, anyone. I'm sorry, I know he's young, but who cares? Kid is a matchup nightmare on both ends. You put a big on him, they can't keep up with Chet's speed or handles. You put a small on him, they can't touch his shot. Yes, Bam's a better defender, I'll give him that. But he ain't Chet on offense. Okay, Wemby is a two-way player, but Holmgren actually knocks down threes. I'm not saying that Chet's ceiling is higher, but today in 2024, Chet could be an MVP candidate if he keeps this up. Now, of course, he's not going to get mentioned for MVP this year because he plays with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who has the narrative already going for him on MVP. And not to be MVP this year. I'm saying one of the guys we said will eventually win MVP. You know, like Luka has been on that list for years, Wemby, SGA, potentially Chet. And I would not want to play his team right now. Their defense is so good with Caruso, Lou Dort, and Kason Wallace on the perimeter, and Chet down low. But you know the Thunder are next because Draymond Green is actually scared. See, OKC's got this rule about not doing post-game interviews individually. They always gang up. It's kind of annoying, but it's also kind of fun. Yeah, not according to Draymond. He ripped them on his podcast.
7 guys in the interview. Like, there's a certain seriousness that it takes to win in this league. And there's a certain fear you have to instill in a team, in teams, in order to win. And I just don't know if they're instilling that fear in teams with all the bromance and stuff after the game. Like, bro, we all the bros, it's the homies. Like, that's cool. There's a time and a place for that. But you also have to understand when people are looking at you to be the team, and you have to understand when your moment is.
So he's saying that you're basically just little kids, okay? No one's afraid of you. You cannot win a championship. No, they are renting space in dude's head because they're that good. Nobody nitpicks like this unless they're actually scared. But you know who Draymond's not talking about on his podcast? The Spurs. So far, looks like Chris Paul is not going to work his little magic that he did in year 1 with OKC or Phoenix. Are they regretting not getting Trae Young? Because before he was dominated by Boston, Trae was on fire. He has scored 30 or more points in 3 of his 8 games so far, with double-digit assists in 6. The Spurs offense is ranked 28th out of 30 in the NBA. You think they could use this guy? Yeah, Atlanta would have dealt him to SA in a heartbeat, but they didn't want to give those picks back to Atlanta. And speaking of picks, is it crazy to think the Spurs actually want another high draft pick for themselves? The coming draft is stacked with talent, so they're telling Wemby, yeah, don't stop taking threes. We love it, buddy. Meanwhile, his game is suffering. So clearly, Wemby and Chet are going to be linked forever because of that epic Rookie of the Year race. But it's about more than just their teams. Yeah, the Spurs are rebuilding. OKC's at the top right now. But Chet's individual game looks a lot better. So far, he is taking that second-year leap we all thought we were going to see from Victor Wembanyama. But speaking of NBA centers, Joel Embiid will be suspended for that fight with a reporter in the locker room. You may have heard about this fight, but the details are insane. I mean, I'm not hearing anybody showing what Embiid actually said to this guy before getting physical, and it's not pretty.